What's up guys, Tommy with Studio Sense here. I can actually do this without hitting the microphone. Usually when I do this or gesticulate in some way and I go edit the video later, there's this huge sound pop in the audio line that I have to cut out of the video, but now I can actually move around. Actually guys, I've had this microphone from the very beginning since I had my YouTube channel. This is what I used to begin with, but I'm such an audiophile, kind of. I like deep bass and I like really crisp treble. And these microphones, kind of like clone fragrances that give you the smell of the fragrance it's cloning, but often not all the little nuances that make it that particular fragrance. A little microphone like this will do the job, but it doesn't give you what you want. But today I'm actually trying it out for two reasons. Number one, you've probably already figured out that I'm losing my voice. Every year I go through this, where there's a couple weeks worth of videos where I sound like somebody punched me in the throat, or I drank a glass full of used French fry oil from McDonald's, and this is how I sound now. Hopefully with some tea and some mentholyptus lozenges, it'll go away pretty soon. But guys, thanks so much for your patience. We've got a brand new fragrance that we're going to be talking about today. I'm always happy when I see a small brand, a relatively unknown brand like Pepe Jeans of London, do decently well on their fragrances, and they really have made some solid fragrances in the past. Today we're looking at their new release, Addictive for Him. We're going to take a look at the presentation, talk about how it smells, and see if this might just be the next great cheapie that you want to pick up for your rotation. So I've got that and more coming up, so stay tuned. Welcome back everyone to my first impressions of the brand new release by Pepe Jeans of London, Addictive for Him. Pepe Jeans of London is a relatively small brand, as I've mentioned. They've come out with several fragrances that are of really good quality, some that I would call hidden gems. Their last fragrance was released in 2021, so it's been a few years since we've seen something from them. It's called London Calling. As you can tell, it's mimicking the look of a shaker. Now, a shaker is used to create drinks. Most of you know this, but the pillar fragrance was created, and all of the flankers are subsequently just celebrating versions of that nuance. But it was created to celebrate gathering of friends, getting together, and all the cool things that happen when people that really enjoy each other's company are together, primarily under the auspices of drinking, social lubrication in the form of alcohol. And that's why this is a drink shaker. This is what the flagon looks like. It's kind of half metal, half glass. It looks a little bit like the Born in Roma design, or what's called Greco-Roman kind of design. There, the Valentino design. So that's kind of cool, but they've gone away from that in the new bottle, and we're going to take a look at that in the presentation of Addictive for Him by Pepe Jeans of London. The box has an eggshell or matte finish on it that's kind of a dark purple. On the top of the box, in shiny dark blue, it says Pepe Jeans London. On the front of the box is an embossed miniature of the bottle. On top of that, in white, it says Pepe Jeans London Addictive. It's a 100 ml bottle. Sides of the box have nothing doing. The back of the box actually has the top notes, heart notes, and base notes. It also has a quick blurb that says, "New alcohol-free formula. Discover the new water-based formula. A powerful and long-lasting fragrance, gentle on the skin with added hydrating properties." Below that is a QR code. Scan and discover more at pepejeansperfumes.com. Bottom of the box has concentration. It is an eau de parfum for him. It also has ingredients listing, some various stickers, a UPC, and address information. The bottle is a much sleeker look. It looks like a lacquered black or epoxy black, but in fact, when the light hits it in a certain way, it is very dark purple. There's only one brand designation on the front of the bottle. In white, it says Pepe Jeans London. On the bottom of the bottle is an adhesive sticker with size, concentration, address information. Well, that's pretty much it for the presentation. I really do like this look. Now, I've always liked the Pepe Jeans bottle look. The shaker is kind of a conversation piece, but they've kind of gone away from that. It almost looks like one of Pepe Jeans' London New Year's resolutions was to lose a little bit of weight, to slim down, trim up, and they've done that in this bottle. They've trimmed the excess fat, and it looks like a much sleeker version of the flagon, and I really dig that. Now, instead of those little knobs on the side that make it look like Valentino, we have these slick little lines or indentations that make the bottle similarly easy to hold, and it just looks really nice. Now the lid does come off and the atomizer is silver. It's plastic on the inside of the lid. It does click into place. I don't know if you could hear that, but it doesn't feel super tight. So just be careful about holding it up by the lid itself. The atomizer itself works decent. I would say it's about medium. Nothing fantastic about it, but it doesn't feel super cheap either. I'll give you a couple sprays. As you can see, it sprays a decent amount out. And this is a new water-based hydrating kind of formula. If your skin's very sensitive or has been previously sensitive to alcohol-based items, you'll get to enjoy this one, and it has some hydrating properties that's even better for your skin than just your standard average spray and go cologne out there. So that's kind of a neat nod towards a bit of consciousness or conscientiousness from Pepe Jeans London, and I really like the direction that they're going. But what about the important thing? How does it smell? What about the notes that make up the fragrance? Pepe Jeans London Addictive for Him features top notes of cinnamon, grapefruit, and sage, with heart notes of geranium, lavender, and leather, resting on a base of ambergris, oak moss, and tonka bean. So there you have it. That's kind of a progressive formula, I think, because they're adding a little bit of spice and fruit right away in that open, and you do get that. You get a little bit of fruity, light sweetness about this fragrance in the open, and kind of a cinnamonistic, a new word, kind of a cinnamon-like spicy feel in the open, and that's very pleasant to the nose. But that quickly gives way to a trifecta of geranium, lavender, and a little bit of leather in this fragrance. You have your leather-based fragrances like Mont Blanc Legend Eau de Parfum or the original Mont Blanc Legend. Those you can smell a little bit of leather in. This one, you don't really get the leather right away. It's there, but it's more to ground the fragrance. The geranium, lavender, and leather heart are smoothly combined. So from that top straight into the heart, but then the base is really where this fragrance, the strengths of the fragrance come from. And that's in that combination of ambergris or ambroxan. In this case, likely ambroxan. If it does have ambergris, it's got very little in it. Ambergris, oak moss, and tonka bean. Now, I want to talk about the tonka bean in this fragrance because it's a pretty good quality, and that's really where the strength of the aroma comes from, is a combination of that geranium, lavender, leather, tonka. 4 fragrances smoothly packed together, densely packed together. And as the fragrance begins unpacking those notes, you get these various nuances that really remind you just a bit of the Maninka fruit in the Hugo Boss The Scent line. And in particular, their latest version of the scent, and that is Magnetic, if I can hold it. Hugo Boss The Scent Magnetic. This definitely has some qualities that are reminiscent of Magnetic, primarily because of how the tonka bean. Now this doesn't have tonka bean in it, right? But it does have a good bit of Maninka fruit in it, which kind of has a tonka-ish like feel. You know, it's got that kind of sweetness of coumarin. It's got kind of a light roasted appeal to it. Not necessarily a burnt or a darker, rich kind of roasted, not like coffee at all. Kind of a warm ember, resinous, amber feel resulting from the combination in the base. And that's, I think, when you pull into the driveway of the namesake. When you finally come home to the ultimate combination of notes, where this sits, where it lies, where it shines, where its strengths are. I did a video not too long ago about fragrances that have that addictive quality. It's hard to get your nose out of, and this does kind of fall into that territory because it's just so appealing. I'm not one who takes a ton of pleasure in water-based fragrances. You know, we got to cut the alcohol. It's killing the planet. If it is, I'm sorry. I like it. I like alcohol in fragrance. It's it works great in fragrance. It promotes notes really well, but water can't do that necessarily, at least not the same. And so I was a little bit reticent, but I found out after the fact, after I'd already worn it, that it was in fact a water-based fragrance. And you can kind of sort of see it on your skin because it does make your skin super shiny. Alcohol dries off the skin and it leaves the fragrance molecules behind. Well, water does the same thing, but just a lot slower. So it's just a lot shinier looking, and it looks a little bit heavy. But those are some nominal changes. It doesn't necessarily change so much the aroma, how it smells. I'm sure it's a factor, but you can take some comfort again in knowing that, there's no alcohol in here if you're allergic to alcohol or you don't like it, or you're trying to get away from alcohol-based fragrances. This might be one you definitely take a look at, or at least a second look at, because of that reason. But guys, it smells super appealing. It's a very aromatic fragrance. There's a little bit of woodiness in there. There's no wood in the fragrance, at least as a listed note, but there's a little bit of woodiness in there. But it's more of the entire line has been more along the lines of gourmandish. And that's what I really like about Pepe Jeans London, is that they, with the exception of a couple of them, they are dabbling in coffee-oriented fragrances. They're dabbling in gourmandish fragrances. They haven't really created a fragrance that I could say for sure this is their signature scent. This is their everyday wear fragrance, one that isn't specifically pigeonholed or created for a season. And I think they've finally done it in this. They came pretty close in London Calling, but it's just a bit sweet. It's a bit sweeter than this is. It doesn't feel as broadly versatile as does Addictive. And I really like Addictive for that reason. So what I'm basically saying is that if you're looking for a signature scent and you have enjoyed Pepe Jeans London's lineup so far, you're gonna really enjoy Addictive for Him. Addictive for Him performs surprisingly well for a water-based fragrance. And again, I'm not all for water-based fragrances. In fact, when I heard that the latest Sauvage was gonna be water-based, I was like, oh man, really? Seriously? So I guess if I'm for one side or the other, I'm more pro-alcohol than pro-water. But this actually is surprising me a bit about how powerful the fragrance is off my skin. I was not expecting it to be as aromatic straight off my skin, straight out of the atomizer, right away. There's a body and a presence about the fragrance immediately after you spray it on your skin. As the fragrance molecules kind of settle in on your skin there, they just get warmer and warmer, and they pick up these little nuances that are, again, very reminiscent of the scent Magnetic by Hugo Boss. So if you like that fragrance, you're gonna like Addictive for Him. I got this from makeup.com. They do have new fragrances on occasion, a pretty decent price, but it is coming from Poland, so it's gonna take a little while to arrive and to get to you. So for those of you that have seen makeup.com and are like, that's a total scam, it's actually not. You just have to be careful about what you purchase. Make sure you're communicating with the supplier at all times, and you're going to get a good product. This is, I think, definitely worth the price. I will put up on the screen how much I paid for this, but it's well under $100. To me, that's a cheapie. So as a brand new release, being under $100 is a bonus. It's definitely worth it. And if other discounters pick it up, like Fragrance Net, Fragrance Buy, Fragrance X, if they pick it up and appropriately price it, this I think will be a hit, even as it is water-based and doesn't have that old alcohol that we all like in our fragrances to promote it. Just like the name implies, Addictive can definitely be worn on date nights. It's gonna make a great, lightly seductive fragrance. That tonka bean, there's something so appealing about that tonka bean. Again, it is reminiscent of the scent Magnetic on the lighter side. It's not quite as sweet, doesn't have the heaviness that this does. By comparison, this feels more like a gourmand, and this feels more like just an everyday kind of fragrance cologne. It's not better than Magnetic. I'm just saying it's reminiscent of it. Versatility is there. You can wear this in any season, any kind of weather. It's gonna be appropriate. It's not gonna be a super strong, punch through layers of clothing kind of fragrance. It doesn't have the spices to do that. It's a bit of a softer fragrance. And I feel like, while I've not tested out the longevity, I feel like this is not going to be one of those 8, 9, 10 plus hours. This, however, will, the scent bubble is relatively close to the skin, so it's going to be more of an intimate setting kind of fragrance. So that's what makes it perfect for date nights and an everyday wear, one that you can wear to the office and know that people are going to smell you, but it's not going to be overbearing for them. They're going to be able to enjoy it because, again, it's a little bit closer. They're going to have to be within your scent bubble to pick it up or to catch it. So that's going to be appropriate for the workplace, which again, widens out that versatility. All in all, I'm really happy to see another fine addition to the Pepe Jeans London lineup. I think Addictive for Him is a great new release. I think it'll be one of those underutilized hidden gems of the future. Even now, though, at the price, it's definitely worth purchasing and definitely blind buy worthy in my estimation. All right, everyone, that's it for my brief overview and my first impressions of Pepe Jean's London Addictive for Him. I'll leave links below if you want to check out this fragrance and purchase it for yourself. You get a good thumbs up from me. I highly recommend it. Thanks for stopping by to check out today's video. As always, thank you so much for your continued support on my channel, even when I have a bad cold and I have to scream out my review. Guys, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow with another video review or list. You never know.